Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. I'm David Mathas, but you guys already knew that because you're tuning into my channel. The growth of the channel has been great. I can't thank you guys enough. All your likes, your shares, your comments, that really means a lot to me. It really helps because I love putting out this free content for you guys. If you aren't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit that little notification button because I am putting out a lot of regular content that might be helpful for you in the future. Today, I want to go through a little bit of a recent back workout that I had, okay? Now, I'm still coming back from an injury that's kind of lingered along for quite a while now. I've been going through some rehab, doing things like that, and I'm starting to progress a little bit more by adding a little bit more resistance into my training. Working on some imbalances that I had, things like that, still kind of rehabbing. A lot of my issues have to do with muscles in my rotator cuff and also that come up through a bicep tendonitis strain into my shoulder, into my pec, which is kind of pulling everything forward. So my whole right side is pretty much jacked up, okay? But I've been dealing with this for a while, I've been getting treatment, and now I'm, slowly starting to progress back into weights again. But really the purpose of this video is to show you some workouts that I'm doing, some training that I'm doing, and this isn't just exclusive to my rehab, okay? This is a regular back training day that you can incorporate for yourself. So hopefully it gives you a little bit of ideas to help with your back training day. And I hope you guys get something out of this, all right? If you guys do have any questions, any comments, anything, please leave them in the comments section below, and I will get to it. You can find me at Mathas Fitness on Instagram. It's M-A-T-H-A-S Fitness. And you can also go to my website, www.coachdavidmathas.com. So without further ado, take a look at some of my back day footage. Like I said, hopefully this might help enhance your back day just a little bit more so that you can get the gains that you're working hard for. Okay, so here you're seeing that I'm going to start warming up. The purpose of this warm-up is to really engage all the muscle fibers, okay? So you're seeing I'm using a red band. This is very light tension, but it's enough to kind of make sure that I'm getting the movement patterns down correctly. I'm activating everything. Right now you see I'm kind of starting with some low rows. The reason is because on my right side particularly, like you're seeing right now, I'm having a real hard time activating not only my right lat, but pretty much everything on my right side in my back. So I'm doing really light pulls here. I'm really concentrating on that pull and that kind of squeeze at the end, okay? Because that squeeze is what's going to help me learn how to recruit a little bit more fibers back there, a little bit easier for when I am trying to train, right? Because when you feel the muscle that you're trying to train, when you activate it properly, you're going to learn to fire on all cylinders, and it's going to make that move, it's going to make your hypertrophy work a lot more efficient. So here, just doing some more rotator cuff warm-ups. Like I just previously mentioned, my right side is my troublesome side. However, I do take time and I unilaterally warm up, so I'm making sure that my left side is equally as warmed up. This is one of my favorites right here. So what I'm doing is I'm just stepping on the red band with my feet, and I'm just kind of mimicking some lateral raises, okay? Now my arms are slightly out in front of me a little bit. What you don't see though is before I started this, I kind of retract my scapula and I kind of squeeze down, okay? So what that's gonna do is something that you really wanna do on all movements before you start pushing, pulling, anything. Because what that's gonna do is stabilize your back, it's gonna stabilize your shoulders, it's gonna actually help you just engage the muscles that you're wanting to work instead of allowing your dominant side or your shoulders to overtake the movement. Because on back day, a lot of times people don't feel activation in their back quite as much is because they're using other muscles, right? And it's because they are not in a solid position. Their shoulders are not locked back and down and retracted like they should be. So here I'm just doing some band pull-aparts, as you can see. Now, you don't see it quite as bad on my back right here because I've been doing so much rehab and I've kind of fixed the issue a little bit. But there is a little asymmetry going on my right side, okay? If you look at where my teres would be on my left side and my teres on my right side, you can see it's kind of bulging a little bit more on my right side. That's because it's still a very injured area. Not injured to where I shouldn't be training, because some of these movements that I'm doing are actually going to help facilitate the recovery process a little bit more and help strengthen some of the imbalances that I'm having. So here I'm just doing some These are conduction exercises. This is really good for shoulder health and mobility, guys. So if you're not doing these, I highly suggest it. Usually I would do this with a solid like broomstick or a, some sort of pole or something. All I had right now with me was the bands. This isn't the most optimal, however, it will get the job done, okay? And you really want to do what I was doing there, where you see where I'm going all the way back and trying to touch my butt with it. So here, I'm just doing some chest-supported rows. Very lightweight, okay? Now this is nowhere near what I usually row, but with being out of the gym for a while, with being out of doing upper body exercises and still having that inability to fully engage the right side, I'm dropping my ego. And I'm doing what's necessary to get myself back to healthy so I can start pushing the heavy weights again. This is just another angle. This is my second set. I'm trying to stay in the higher rep ranges on most of these movements. The reason being is because I really want to have a little bit more volume to try to activate that right side a little bit more. So I'm dropping the weight because I'm not strong enough right now because of the imbalances to handle the weight that I used to handle, for lack of a better term. But what this is doing is allowing me to fully engage and having those repetitions to keep fully engaging that right side so that I can fix my injury a little bit more efficiently. This, I believe, is my last set of chest-supported rows. So I did bump the weight up a little bit. Like I said, this is still a lot lighter than what I usually do, but the focus is really just driving my elbows back and trying to fully engage those lats in my mid-back. So then I move down to a pull-down. This is one of two pull-down movements that I'll do for the day. You'll see the other one later on. I really like this machine. I don't usually like a lot of fixed machine lateral pull-downs. However, this one just ergonomically fits me really well at my gym. And the gym that I train at is Powerhouse Athletic Club in Tampa. To me, one of the best gyms in the area. So if you guys are in the area, definitely stop by Powerhouse and check it out. There's a lot of professionals that work out there. It's just a great training environment. So you've been seeing me do a lot of bilateral stuff, and now you're going to start seeing me do some unilateral things. Like I said, my right side, which you see me doing right here, is my troublesome side. So what I'm really trying to do when I do these movements is I've got my shoulders locked back and retracted down so that I'm just engaging fully my lat. And I just want to try to drive that elbow. I'm kind of picturing that elbow being driven into my back pocket. Another set, some unilateral work from another angle, so you can kind of see my back fully engaging. Right now, before I started, I kind of shrugged my shoulders up, back, and down, and locked my shoulders into place right now. So all I'm feeling right here is my lat engaging. You can see there I put my hand on my lat. What that does is it signals me, it gives my brain a cue that I need to start the initiation, I need to start the contraction from that point. This machine's great. I'm so happy that my gym has this machine, okay? So it's so versatile. You can use it as, for RDLs, for Romanian deadlifts. You can use it for exactly what I'm using it here for, single arm rows. You can also use it for Bulgarian split squats. There's a little foot padding up there that you turn around and put your foot on and everything. So it's a very versatile piece of equipment. Really, really lucky my gym has it. But right now, this is what I just chose for my single arm rowing movement for the day. I like it because I can really focus on just engaging that muscle and really driving through it. I'm having a little trouble there though. I'm still not feeling it very well, if you could see the frustration in my face. But then I move on to the cable machine, and cables have been very integral in my rehab process, especially since I moved on from kind of graduating, I guess, for lack of a better term, using bands. I've been able to move on to the cables and add a little bit more resistance and stuff. But what this does is just really allows me to stabilize my core, allows me to fully activate and engage the muscle that I'm wanting to engage. And for these in particular, I'm kind of starting high and coming down low. And the reason is because right here on my right side as I'm doing this movement, all of my muscles on my right side are kind of like jammed up under my scapula, okay? So what this is trying to do is trying to activate those muscles and kind of pull them back down into their rightful place so that I can hopefully get rid of some of those imbalances and heal up some of those injuries that I'm feeling. Okay, so now just doing some low to mid rows right there. Just really trying to work on squeezing the middle part of my upper back. So as I'm coming back, I'm driving my elbow back and I'm kind of twisting my upper torso just a little bit. You see I'm putting the hand there again so I know where to feel the contraction. But I'm kind of driving my elbow back and just slightly turning my back so that I can feel it right in the middle part of my back. Now I'm just not still getting the pumps that I should be getting on my right side here. There's still some, I think what's happening, guys, is I think that injury had left me out for so long that some of the muscle fibers are just not connecting. Okay, so some of the nerves down there, they're just not firing. I've actually been doing a lot of work with the NewFit. If you guys aren't familiar with NewFit, definitely check it out. But what it is it's kind of electrodes that they hook up on you, and it sends kind of pulse waves, I guess, for lack of a better term, through your body, and it kind of helps activate those dormant muscle fibers and those nerves down there. So that's been part of my rehab process too, and it's really been helping a lot. I know you've heard me say a couple times I've been frustrated doing this workout because I'm not really feeling my right side all that much, but I'm feeling it a lot more than I did, say, 3-4 weeks ago. So there are improvements, and that's what you got to understand about the rehab process, is that there's going to be ups and downs. Progress is never going to happen quite as fast as you want it to, but you have to be patient and steady and drop your ego down. And all I'm doing right here, the purpose of this whole back workout is, yes, I want to try to grow my back, I want to try to add some thickness and width to it, but right now I got to get my rotator cuff muscles healthy, I've got to get my back reconditioned, and I've got to get this movement pattern down so that when I do start progressing with heavier weights, I'm going to be able to make the progress and pick right back up where I left off. I am really happy with a lot of the definition, a lot of the cuts in my back right now, even sitting at about 12% body fat. I am really happy that during this whole injury, I hadn't lost more than I thought I was going to lose. But there's still a lot of work to do. This is one of my favorite movements. This is the other lateral pull down movement for the day as well. I'm kind of leaning into the pull a little bit. It's because I'm working on a very specific portion of the lat. I'm working on the lower lat. So what this is really doing is your lat actually runs kind of from your waist pretty much all the way up your back. Okay, so it's a very, very large muscle group. And I'm trying to work on that insertion point down at the very lowest part. This allows me right here to feel it a little bit more than on some other exercises on my right side, the injured side right now. But I'm really, really enjoying this movement right now. And I like it on the cable machine here. I like kneeling down because I'm just really able to kind of contortion my torso into the pull a little bit more to really specifically target the part of the lat that I'm wanting to target. And then here, I'm going to another lat pull down with cables. Just a different variation, kind of a different angle. This one's seated. And I'm working on some bilateral stuff here, but as you're gonna see pretty soon right now, I am kind of switching up midway through and doing unilateral. I think it's really important, whether or not you have an injury or not, that you are working both lateral or bilateral and unilateral work in your movement pattern, because over time, as you start progressing in heavy weights, your dominant side and your strengths are going to start taking over if your weaknesses are not addressed. And that's what's going to lead to injury later on and stuff. So here's just another angle of these same seated lat pull downs. I'm not a big fan of the straight bar. I like the cables. I think it allows for me personally, just from an ergonomical standpoint, anatomical structure, I believe that I get a little bit stronger of a contraction in my lat, especially on my left side right now, but even when my right side is healthy, I'm definitely able to kind of get a deeper squeeze, which is really important when you're doing back work. Angles and really being able to fully engage and squeeze and contract that muscle is crucial. So here's a side view of kind of the same thing. See, I'm putting my hand there. I'm just signaling in my brain that's where the initiation has to come from. That's where the contraction has to start. Same thing, and I'm just driving my elbows into my side. Sorry about that. My dogs are barking while I'm doing this. But here, I'm switching over to my left side, my good side, and obviously I'm getting a little bit stronger of a contraction. But the same focus is I'm kind of leaning into it just a little bit more, trying to kind of hit that mid to lower part of the lat, and really, really focusing on driving that elbow and trying to put it in my back pocket. And this is how I kind of end my training days on whichever movement it is. I just try to do some active stretching. You've tightened up those muscles, you've bunched them up. There's a lot of blood, there's a lot of stuff going on in those muscles, and you just want to kind of stretch them out and allow all that blood and all those nutrients to flow freely through there so that you can recover, so that you can start to grow, and you can get back in the gym soon. So this all in all was a pretty good back day. Welcome back back day, I guess. This is probably the most intense one I've had thus far in the recovery process, and I can only anticipate them getting better and better from here, especially with all the continuous rehab I'm doing and really concentrating on these exercises and my warm-ups and my cool downs, just like you see. All right, guys, so you just went and you saw what the typical back day workout for me is looking like right now at this point in my rehab. You saw that I was doing a lot of isolation stuff. You saw that I was doing a lot of unilateral things, but I was also incorporating a lot of bilateral, because right now I'm having issues with my movement pattern because I have, like I said earlier in the video, my whole right side is pretty much all tight, all the way up through, you know, my mid back, wrap around my lats, up to my serratus, all the way up through my rotator cuff. So I'm having to relearn some movement patterns, okay? That means dropping the weight. That means dropping the ego right now. I know it's hard for a lot of people, but what this is ultimately going to do for me moving forward with my goals of putting on more muscle and you know, hypertrophy in general, is that it's going to allow me to have better movement patterns. I'm going to be able to connect and feel the muscles working a little bit more, which when you can feel the muscles working a little bit more, you can engage them more, right? Which ultimately leads to greater tension on the muscle, and paired with the right nutrition, right recovery, right training program, and patience, which is always the key thing for a lot of people, leads to more muscle growth in the future. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said at the beginning, if you guys have any comments, any questions, anything below, leave them in the section below, I'm sorry. Or reach out to me, once again, at Mathas Fitness on Instagram, MATHAS Fitness. www.coachdavidmathas.com is my website. I'm here to help you guys. I hope you're getting something from all this free content. And if there's any videos that I haven't done on my channel, I've done nearly 200 videos. But if there's a topic I haven't covered that you want me to cover specifically, or you want a little bit more clarification on, don't hesitate to reach out to me, okay? If you're looking for coaching, you can reach out to me in any of the forums that I mentioned before, my Instagram, my email, which is david@biolayne.com, or mathasfitness@gmail.com, as well as my website. There's a direct link to an application for client inquiry on there. So you guys have a great day. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the little notification button, and I'll be back with another video soon.